It is no secret that America is one of those countries that provides a great deal of financial aid to other countries, one of such countries being South Africa. But currently, we are finding that the President of America, President Donald Trump, is withdrawing funding based on certain allegations which have been denied by the President of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa. This is a report, and I'm your host, Enongene Doris. But before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe to the Next Generation Media channel so you don't get to miss out on any of our subsequent videos. So President Donald J. Trump has labeled accusations of expropriation acts performed by the South African government. He also accused the government of being unfair to certain classes of citizens in their country. And on that note, he decided to withdraw the financial aid that was being offered to the South African government. So as you know, on the A report, we don't just jump to the side we like the best. We find both sides, we listen to both sides, and we come to a conclusion. We try to find a common ground. So we're going to first start by listening to President Donald Trump on his allegations, him talking about his allegations against the South African government. We'll listen to a minister who addressed these accusations that he made and what South Africa was planning on doing to retaliate on the accusations that were done to them by the American government. And then we can try to find a common ground and maybe find out what this means for South Africa and America.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he will cut funding for South Africa over a new land expropriation policy. South Africa defended itself on Monday against attacks on the policy by Trump and his billionaire backer Elon Musk, who was born in South Africa. Without citing evidence, Trump said on Sunday, quote, certain classes of people in South Africa were being treated very badly.
That's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said in a statement he looked forward to engaging with Trump to find a better and common understanding over the issue. Last month, he signed into law a bill that would make it easier for the state to expropriate land in the public interest. The law aims to address racial disparities in land ownership that persist 3 decades after apartheid's demise in 1994. Special conditions would have to be met for expropriation, such as the land having long-time informal occupants, being unused and held purely for speculation, or being abandoned. The Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Gwede Mantashe, struck a tougher line.
If they don't give us money, let's not give them minerals. But the reality, they take our...
So before getting to what the minister said about the entire issue and their retaliation to what Trump is planning to do for South Africa, one thing I really noticed about Trump's accusations is the fact that he has not presented any proof. He mentioned that certain classes were being underlooked or somehow mistreated, and he hasn't presented the evidence. He says they are still doing investigations. I would have preferred that when the investigations were done and you can present the evidence, you said, okay, because of this, we are going to withdraw this funding. And rather than being like, okay, we are going to withdraw this funding because we have seen that there might be this, we have intel that there is this happening, when you cannot show the entire public. Like, he still has the full right to do what he wants to do. Like, he has the right to do it. But even having the right, you might want to follow a certain sort of pattern to do it. I think the best way would have been conclude your investigations, bring the proofs to the public, then you follow up and do the withdrawal of the fundings and all of that. So that was where I did not really appreciate what Trump did. But I still understand the fact that he has a full right to do it. He's a president of the country. If he feels like this is going to be harmful to maybe what he's looking to achieve in the country, or maybe his visions for his presidency time, then he has the right to go about that. So now let's look into what a minister of South Africa had to say in retaliation to Trump's accusations and decision to withdraw the funding.
Let's withhold minerals to U.S. That is it. If they don't give us money, let's not give them minerals. But the reality, they take our minerals, but say we're withdrawing funding. No, we have minerals in the continent, and therefore we have something that we have. We're not just beggars, but we must just use that endowment for our benefit as a continent.
Okay, so very inspiring speech. We have minerals, we're not beggars. Appreciate it. But where I think I did not support this was the fact that when it comes to dealing between countries, each country, when they relate to each other, they relate because they have a certain thing that they gain from the other country. So Trump taking out his aid, he had something that he felt that South Africa should maybe have been doing in retaliation that maybe they were not doing. And the fact of taking away minerals is like saying they were somehow giving the minerals to America for free. I believe this was a trade. They were trading these minerals and being paid for the minerals. And it also brings us to think about the fact that whenever we have a case where an African country they feel like they are being underlooked by a Western country, they always bring up this aspect of Africa is rich in its resources. Like we keep saying this thing, Africa is rich in its resources. All the government officials, all maybe presidents of African countries will keep reiterating on this, Africa is richly blessed and all of that. But the question is, why do we wait till when there is some sort of withdrawal by the other party to actually bring up this statement? Why don't we use the resources that we say we have early enough and not bring some sort of like, okay, you have left me now, no, I still have value, kind of like, why don't we recognize our value till the other party leaves? And of course, I've realized this trend a lot when we see like maybe Africa has a quarrel or some sort of spat with another country, like another foreign country. They fall back on this. Africa is the mother of all continents. We have resources. Nobody is disagreeing with that fact. But what I do with the resources? Why are you delaying to use the resources? Why is there this delay? Because we know there's a lot of corruption in Africa. And that's something that we don't want to face. The fact that corruption is the reason why we are not exploiting our resources to the level at which we are supposed to exploit these resources. The reason why Africa is not exploiting the resources it has is because of the people who have been put in charge of those resources. They keep putting this idea in your head that, oh, we have resources. Okay, don't bother, we have resources. But they will not exploit the resources the way they'll be exploited. And whenever we have this issue with other countries, they fall back on, don't bother, we have the resources. It's like some sort of consolation that we are giving ourselves at this point. So definitely, South Africa will face a lot of maybe a setback from the withdrawal, because we find out that the highest country that has sending funding to South Africa is the USA. I don't know what their agreements were. I believe when I also read some other articles, it says that another reason why he felt he had to pull away was because South Africans were taking some stands out in political opposition to what the US was supporting. But then again, we have to realize that this withdrawal is going to affect South Africa. I believe the US has one time given like $440 million to South African country. That's how much they have supported the South African country, more than any other country in the world. So definitely there will be a noticeable sign of the US withdrawal. But I would urge South Africans or South African government to stop deceiving its citizens like this. Like, you are saying the truth, saying that there are the resources. And the fact that you're going to like pull out your minerals is not going to help your economy. These minerals that you are selling or you are trading with other countries is helping to build your economy. But if you feel like you can use these minerals to do something better for your economy, then use the minerals to do that. Sometimes we talk so much about the capacity, the value we have, and we don't use them. We keep them dormant. And whenever we have a spat to another country, we start boasting about the value we have. Value is not value if it's not used. Okay, so that's one thing I think I'll leave to the South African government. Use the value. If you want to say that you can't stand without the US government, make the stand. Don't just say the words. Talk the talk, do the actions, okay? And we have to realize that President Donald Trump didn't come to play. He came with America first. He has really been cutting back on whatever he felt was somehow America wasting finances. Like, I'm not going to say I totally support everything he has cut back on, but you have to realize that he's somebody who has come and he is putting America first, and we cannot hate him for it. Other countries cannot hate him for wanting to put his country first. If he feels like this, like America is putting in energy in this and they are not really getting the maybe getting the energy back, or somehow feeling like they are sponsoring things that are not supposed to be sponsoring, he'll pull back. And granted, he has to maybe justify why he's going to pull back, but if he pulls back without justification, we can't really do much. So at this point in time, it's for everybody that is looking up to America. Either you are really being in a very stable relationship with them. If you have any like discrepancies, you're not very financially true with them, it'll be found out, it'll be pulled out. And I'm really excited for the next 4 coming years of him being in office. Like, he has already done so much for the American government. I really also believe that this will help us in a way. Like, I really believe that this setback might help the South African government if they look at it in a positive light. if they want to take at it as more of like some sort of disastrous thing that has happened to them, they will end a disaster. I believe they can take this to actually step up their game and use the minerals that they say they have to better their country. That's all, guys, and that's my intake on this US versus South Africa kinda debate. I would like to know how you feel about it in the comment section below. Just drop down your opinions. But before you go, make sure to like and subscribe to the Next Generation Media channel so you don't get to miss out on any of our subsequent videos. Bye.